Greening the African horizon, a new dawn rising with the
This
sun.
is the Confident One podcast, a brand new season of the GLF series themed Greening the African Horizon. And I have a special guest in the building. He's an expert in conservation and also he has a deep love for the ocean. My guest, Steve Misati. Welcome to the Confident One podcast.
Thank you so much, bro.
Good to see you, Steve.
Me too, man.
Yeah, your love for the ocean, your deep love for the ocean. How did that come about?
I think I've been brought up by the ocean, actually, if that's the correct term to use.
Accurate.
I've seen the changes that the ocean has been going through. I've witnessed the benefits firsthand from the ocean. So that relationship actually is way from when I was young till now, and I still uphold it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been checking your work, your projects, and there's a project that caught my attention. The Mangrove Eco Restoration Project. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. Actually, when it comes to the ocean world, there's all different angles that comes into picture when you say ocean conservation.
Yeah.
And for ocean, there's life below water and life
Above
on land.
water.
Yeah. So basically, for me, the mangrove stood out because it's so dear to me. Actually, mangroves are one of the best ecosystems that we have, and not basically things to do with carbon and stuff, but the importance that we as the communities living at the coast actually get from the mangroves. And it saddens me to that not many people actually know about mangroves. Even the people living at the coast, they don't have the information.
They don't have the awareness about mangrove.
Yeah.
How is it going? How's the awareness right now? Since you started and right now as you speak.
We've made strides. I'm proud to say that we've made strides. We've gotten into roots deep into the community. We've also started the school educational workshops, basically to promote awareness about mangroves, why we need to take care of them, why people need to, understand and also know what benefit we get from them. So to inspire the need for us taking care of them.
Raising awareness.
Yeah.
And I want to dive into a theme of the conference because the conference theme is Greening the African Horizon.
Okay.
And when we talk about greening the African horizon, it affects livelihoods.
Yeah.
How do you think what you're doing is affecting livelihoods of people living in the coastline? How do we make sure or ensure their rights and livelihoods are not affected in greening the horizon and also conserving the ocean?
Good question, and that actually has reminded me of an activity we were doing at the leadership landscape leadership camp that was happening before
the conference.
And we were dealing with 3 points of view about nature. There's nature for nature, then nature for people, and then nature for culture. And now when you talk about livelihoods, for me, I feel like it's falling between nature for people and nature for culture.
Correct.
So people need to understand that we as humans can't exist without nature. There's that coexistence. And if, first of all, you understand that we can't exist without nature, you'll get to understand that for you to actually preserve the nature, you have to use it sustainably,
That's a very good point, yeah.
You have to know that if I cut these trees more often just because of firewood or just because I have to sell timber, it will be depleted without you having an alternative to that, And right now we are trying to shift the narrative from solely depending on mangroves or maybe trees.
And what's the alternative?
Now,
what alternative are you providing to the locals in the community?
So, for example, let's say things to do about timber.
Yeah.
Mangroves actually, I can't deny the fact that mangroves provide one of the strongest timbers that we can have.
Okay.
But the alternative to that, there's stories about eucalyptus, There's palm trees. As much as they don't provide the strength that the mangroves can do, for mangrove timber can go to up to 30 years, without you changing it. But for the other alternatives like eucalyptus, the palm trees, they'll serve you like 5 years or 10 years max.
Okay.
But you see, at least for palm trees, they grow easily, for mangroves, it's hard for you to bring them back. Once they are gone, they are gone.
Oh, so it's a very rare species,
It's
yeah?
a rare species.
Okay.
Yeah. And owing to the fact that we have in Kenya right now, we have like 7 species of mangroves, and only 4 are the ones that thrive. So meaning the 3, if we leave them to go completely, then that's that.
Okay.
We are done.
I mean, I totally agree with what you're saying. But now I'm thinking about also another theme that's very huge in the conference, shifting landscapes.
Okay.
How do we adapt in a just way? Because I'm thinking, of course, you will have pushbacks.
Yeah.
You know, you're telling them, don't cut down the trees.
Very.
But how do you make them adapt in a very just way so that people don't like suffer injustice in the community or maybe the coastline? How do you mitigate that?
I think first is changing the mindset.
Change the mindset. By the way, that's a good point here.
And it's hard actually, because I've as you've said, I've faced like a lot of backlash, especially from the community.
Community,
people.
yeah.
But you see, once you change someone's perspectives and mindset, it's
Actually, if you want to change the world, you should change the mind.
Yeah.
Mm.
Definitely, I totally agree with that. And I'll give you an example. So in my community that I'm working with, it was really hard for me to convince them to stop cutting mangroves. Prior, when I was starting the mangrove restoration project.
When was that? Can you give us the timeline?
It was in 2021.
Okay, 21.
For me, it was 2021, but there were other organizations that were working that I
prior,
had.
okay.
Yeah, prior to that.
Okay.
But officially for me, I started in 2021, and the community that I'm working with, they were depending heavily on mangroves. Like
Okay.
they were cutting it, not even for firewood, but basically building boats.
Anything that needs wood, they cut it down.
Yeah, they cut it down.
Okay.
And so what I did is actually I went and looked for photos,
Yes.
satellite photos, images from 1980 to 2020. So in 10 years gap, like 1980, 1990, 2000, 2010, and 2020. And I printed them out. And one day I was holding a community engagement with them, and like I showed them, you see, in 1980, this area was so green. When you look at satellites,
And you can show them the difference of what they're doing.
yeah, you can see. So the thing was, I was trying to tell them, like, you see how the land has degraded.
Actually,
over time.
45% of African land now is degraded.
Yeah, it's degraded. And from green, we went to brown. Towards 2020, it was brown. And this was actually on the Kenyan coast. So I asked them a question. What do you think about that? And they say the thing about us human beings is giving someone a chance to talk
By the way,
about.
Maybe hear what they think, their opinion about
Hear
something.
about what they think.
Their perspective and reality.
Very good, and they were like, oh, so it has changed from green to brown. So that means trees are disappearing. And then I asked them why. We are cutting them down. They answered that we are cutting them down. And I asked them, is it a good thing? They told me like, it's not a good thing, but you see, I've been brought up. My father was cutting these trees down. I was born, I found them cutting down, so I continued cutting them down. So I had no other choice.
Okay.
And you see, it was hard for me because how can I convince a 70-year-old man that cutting down these trees
It's not a good idea.
It's not a
By
good
the way,
idea.
I can only imagine.
And I'm only 20s, man. So, but with the pictures and stuff like that, I made them understand
The importance
of these trees, and they actually bought in. That was one of the ways I actually presented my project to them, and they accepted it. Right now, when we speak, I haven't been there for like I think 2 6 months, but they usually do monthly things. They go for monitoring and evaluation.
Amazing.
They send photos and reports. That's the community doing that. Not even me, not my team. So it's amazing how when you give someone a chance to first of all understand their mindset and then present something that can change
their reality.
and change their reality and understand what's going on.
Absolutely amazing,
It's
Steve.
easy,
You're doing great work.
Yeah.
And that brings me to your project. You're a founder of the Youth Power.
Yeah.
An organization dedicated to nature restoration and all that. Can you dive into the project and the movement?
Yeah, sure. So Youth Power actually came into the picture because of mangroves, but we've grown. Mangroves is still our backbone, but now we have ventured into climate education, ocean literacy. We've gone into community empowerment because at the end of the day, we want to see a planet that is thriving. Nature is thriving, and also the community is living
they can't. They have to coexist.
They
yeah.
have to coexist, and
Okay.
we have to build that relationship to be healthy, not toxic one. So youth power started in 2017, but it failed 3 times. In Kenya,
What were the shortcomings? Why were you guys failing?
I think it's because I didn't get a good team. You know, for an organization to
They say if you want to make the dream work, you should have a good team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The teamwork should be perfect. And I think for me, the first two times, it was the team thing. I didn't get the people who had this, who could carry my vision about the planet. about the
Teamwork
mangroves.
makes the dream work, yeah?
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Okay.
Perfect. And then the third time was actually the government, you know, in our country.
We're going to talk about that. The willingness for government to support.
Yeah. So they were like pushing me out. So I kind of gave up until I met a certain lady. She's my mentor.
Okay, what's her name? Give her a shout out too.
She's called Millie. She's a British, and she's a director of the Iris Project, the organization that actually believed in my work.
Okay.
And they decided to fund me willingly, trust-based fund. You know, no pressure. You do you. Give us what you've
We're
done.
behind
and stuff
you.
like that.
Okay, that's amazing.
And there was this opportunity they had in the organization, and I was like, okay, let me give it a shot. And I was selected, and well, with money, you know, you can, I don't want to say this, but let me put it in quotes. With money, you can do a lot of stuff in our country, especially in our setup.
I'm going to ask you about money in the next segment, but yeah, continue.
Yeah, like getting the freedom to access those government offices.
Money gives you choices, yeah?
Money gives you choices.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I registered my organization, but I started the registration in 2021, but funny enough, I got the certificate for our organization in 2023, July. But that didn't make me stop, because yes, we've got the money now. Let's start working on the project.
Yes.
I started working the project. I went to the community. We assessed the area. Now, in conservation, I don't want to talk bad about people who plant. But you see, our way of restoration, there's something called community-based ecological mangrove restoration.
Can you expound more on that?
It's basically where we are trying to imitate nature, basically.
Okay.
And by imitating nature, nature is rugged. One of the things that people need to understand. Nature has no pattern. There are different species of, countless species in nature, biodiversity.
Okay.
So the CBMR approach basically is trying to imitate that. And by you planting, it doesn't do that. Because for planting, it's one species. But remember, in nature, there are many countless species.
Okay, interesting.
So for CBMR to actually work, you have to understand the site, you have to understand the topology, you have to understand the wave strength coming into the land, you have to understand all those stuffs, and then sit down, talk with the community, understand what was there before, because the Gen Z, young generation, they were there. They know that, the indigenous knowledge.
Yeah.
You now infuse it with the scientific knowledge. And then now you go into the field, you assess it. You say...
Very practical.
Very practical. This species is thriving here. I'll use 2 species that thrive in my ecosystem. The Rhizophorum mucronata, which is basically in the water, where it's water, like water never goes away. And when you come into the land, there's now the Avicennia marina. So you plant the right species in the right place. And that's one thing people in the conservation world don't really take keen interest. And projects fail because of simple planting wrong species in the wrong place in the ecosystem.
So at the end of the day, 10 steps forward, 30 backwards.
Yeah.
All right, amazing. I'm curious to find out, how do you engage the youth in building this sustainable future for Africa? Like now, the theme is about greening the African horizon. Yeah. How do you engage the youth?
I'm a youth myself, and I believe we as youths have the power, have the creativity, have the energy, have the voice. We are confident, we can stand in front.
And this is the Confident One podcast. And you're here, inspiring confidence.
Yeah. And, you speak what you have in mind. And I love working with the youths because they give fresh perspectives about
How do you engage them? Do you go to schools?
No, yeah,
Do you?
So we have school programs, and then we have workshops. In 2 months, we usually have one workshop, and we come up with different topics that we engage each other, and they come on board. If now we want to go out to do projects, they are interested. It's giving them an opportunity to also express themselves.
A platform.
Yeah, a platform to express themselves.
All right.
Yeah.
For a young person, maybe between the age bracket of 18 to maybe 30, they might not be so interested in conservation or nature. How do you make that topic interesting? Maybe they're interested in pop culture, music, but how do you make that topic and that whole movement appealing to the youth?
Creativity, and by creativity I mean using art.
Okay, art is very powerful.
Art is powerful. So you want to think. You've said pop. There's a way you can use pop to share information about nature.
Absolutely.
And I also write, and one of the few things I've realized is art can transcend any topic, anything. Nature,
art is powerful.
Food, everything. And for youths, we love artistic things. Majority of us loves artistic things.
I think every young person is artistic at some point, maybe.
That's a powerful point, actually. Yeah. Every young person is artistic. So I use art most of the time. Not necessarily going to sing, but you have to understand your audience. If this audience loves pop, let's create a concert. But the main thing,
but have a theme that would drive our agenda
into nature,
agenda, amazing,
stuff like
amazing.
That. And by the end of the day, they'll start even asking questions, sending emails like, "Hey, this concert was amazing," or "This event was amazing. How can we now start taking part of it? How can we join you?" And that's how you build. One step at a time.
All right. And how often do you maybe organize artistic sessions, or how often do you involve artists and artistic people in your work?
So I don't have. I'm inconsistent on that.
All right, you should be consistent.
And that's because of organizing events is so stressful
and also expensive too.
And expensive, and you have to invite people like artists who are.
You need to pay the artist. It's expensive too.
It's expensive. But what I strive to do is every time we like having a workshop, one of our check-in sessions is actually thing to do with art. We might have a poet in the stage. So you actually ask in the audience, anybody who feels like blessing us with their art or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they come. Some come, some, say like, let's do it after. And at the end of the day, you'll come up with something around that. But how I utilize that is through our workshops. Basically.
Through your workshops.
Yeah.
And I want to also dive into GLF. How did you get involved with GLF? How did you become a speaker? Today you're speaking. You're sharing your knowledge.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Funny story. So there's an organization I was doing. I was taking part of their capacity building things. It's called Coalition World.
Okay.
It's actually partnering with the Iris project that actually funded my my work. That's funding my work. So they actually recommended me to on the GLF, and like the GLF team came on board and they were like, "Hey Steve, we've been introduced to you. We love your work. Do you think that you can be part of our restoration stewardship and stuff like that?" And I was like, "Oh, sure, yeah, I don't mind." And they gave me that application thing. I did that. I sent, and they accepted me. Yeah, the rest is history. Now I'm here.
Inspiring confidence in greening the African horizon. Amazing.
Yeah. And, and now is so the thing about art and me writing is I write poems.
Okay.
But I never perform them.
You can perform today. Can we put you on the spot?
No. Because I'm actually performing another one today in the plenary. So and it's my.
You can't do something for us. You mean a very short skit?
No. Another time.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but so Irene, she's so amazing because she's empowering us, and if she notices something that you are strong at and you are trying to, press it down, she's like, "Hey, Steve, no, this is something you can explore, you can do. And she saw a photo. I was lucky enough to stand in a stage in Rwanda called Spoken Word Rwanda.
That was in Kigali.
In Kigali.
Okay.
Like I stood there and they shared my photo on their profile, and I reposted it on my Instagram, and like Irene, so she was like, hey, so you do poetry? And I was like, yeah, I write, but now I'm trying to get outside my comfort zone and trying to perform things. And she was like, you need to perform at the GLF. And I was like, oh, okay, interesting. So what can we do that? And she was like, I'll get you the topic and the theme. And
Amazing.
So she got me the topic and the theme, and she was like, can you create something new, or can you like use your previous work? And I told her, no, I won't use my previous work. Let me create something new. And I've created something new, and I'm looking forward to, performing something
All
new.
the best with that. All the best with that.
Yeah, but GLF is an amazing, it's an amazing family, honestly. To me, they've believed in my work. They've actually also made me introduce more initiatives into the mangrove restoration, like the sustainable livelihood and stuff
They
like
have been
that.
very instrumental.
Very, very, very.
Shouts to GLF.
I'm really grateful for them, man. And anybody who gets lucky enough to be part of this family, man, they shouldn't.
You should speak directly to them. That's your camera. Tell the guys watching, the millions and thousands watching you.
Yeah, like I'm saying, if you get the privilege of joining the GLF family, it's an amazing platform for you to go beyond your horizons. They believe in your dreams, your visions, and they are ready to support
And they
you
support you.
regardless. Yeah,
I agree with that, because us guys also, we're here trying to inspire confidence in growing the African horizon. And I believe that's also a part of, like you said, at the end of the day, you need partners.
Yeah.
You can't achieve greatness alone.
True.
You need someone to support you, someone to show you how to go about the whole thing. And GLF has been doing that, and we appreciate them for the great work.
Yeah.
So, Steve, I want to find out, from now, your projects. You've been doing this for a minute. How do you feel you should evolve the project and also include, maybe expand the horizon? Yeah, you're doing it in the coastline of Kenya, but I'm believing other coastlines are suffering in other African countries, because we're focusing on Africa in this conference. How are you planning to involve other African countries in what you're doing for them also to conserve the ocean and ocean lines in their countries? Expanding becoming regional, continental.
That's a good question. And last year I had a chance of attending the Global Youth Climate Summit. It was happening in Tanzania, and I had a chance of sharing the work that we're doing in Kenya.
Amazing.
And people started getting interested and asking, how can we do this project in our country?
How can we
bring the knowledge to their own countries and their own spaces? And I was like, I wasn't ready for this, it has come as a shocker. And I was like, let me go back to work and try and see and think about that and start. So we started with the membership thing. Prior to last year, Youth Power was not working with members. Like, we didn't have members. It was.
But now you have members.
Now we have members. We are 20,
Okay.
So
that's a good number, building up.
Building up slowly by slowly. We believe in quality over quantity.
Yeah, it's good to have a small team, but a very effective team.
Yeah. And now one of the things that I'm working on currently to expand and continue telling people about the ecosystems, about mangroves in every African continent. We are organizing, let me use the word, the first ever Youth Ocean Summit.
Okay, that's amazing. When is it happening?
We are thinking on next year.
Oh, you're setting dates. And,
We're still on the planning and logistics and getting the endorsement from the UN, and stuff like that. But the purpose for that is basically bringing all the youths in the African continent to come on the same table. We talk as people, because one of the few researches that I've done personally is I've realized, like, when it comes to the ocean and the African continent, youths and the ocean, they are sort of disconnected. And like, when you say climate, you'll find like 90% of the youths going in the climate. When you say about the ocean, it's the few number. Even it was evident at COP28 last year.
Yeah.
When you went to the other pavilions that are doing things to do with climate, women and gender and children and youth, it was always full capacity.
So the awareness is also very huge. Yeah.
Yeah. But when you come to the ocean pavilion, it was
The numbers are very low.
It's only the people who are scholars, because again,
Experts, yeah.
ocean is science, and we youths, most of us hate science.
We are on the art side.
We are on the art side. So we are trying to. The objective for that is basically trying to bring more youths into the picture, telling them we can work together, and also trying to get those UN people, the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration, to also push us and push the message out to ensure that not necessarily will you do science so that you can be involved with taking care of the ecosystems. You can come with your art. You can come with whatever you have
and incorporate. All right, amazing. Yeah. We'll take a short break. Yeah. We'll be back with Steve for more information about the ocean and also dive into his personal projects.
From the plains to the sea, we plant the roots of harmony. In the soil of hope, we stand.
Welcome to the Confident One podcast. We're back with Steve Misati, diving into ocean matters and also conservation issues. So, Steve, your deep love for community work and also engaging communities. I want to understand and also find out how this love for community came about. Is it something that did you grow up loving community work? Or is it something you acquired along the way? Your love for community and empowering community?
That's something I acquired along the way. It's not something that I was brought up loving or doing. And growing up in primary school, I hated doing those community things.
Hate is a strong word. But it is not your...
But now it doesn't represent that.
Okay.
Right now it's actually the opposite. I love being with communities. I love taking care of the communities themselves. I love involving myself with community matters because I've realized, as an individual, I can't do it alone. So you have to have a
exactly.
It's like a hand, These fingers basically.
One hand can't wash
One hand
itself.
can't wash itself, and also these fingers, it's weak. But once you connect,
there's a
link and a strong link. So this is just a description of a community, and it's interesting because different communities have different ways into life, and it gives you a reason to say, "Hey, I'm just a small, tiny thing in this planet," So with their information and your little information and someone else's little information, you create that. You feel that puzzle. Yeah, that's the beauty of community.
The beauty of community.
Yeah.
If you're watching and listening right now, build a community around your people.
Yeah.
And achieve greatness like Steve.
Yeah.
I want to dive into a theme about the conference, about technology and data.
Oh.
I want to find out how you've used technology and data to assist you in your work.
Okay.
I mean, technology is huge right now. AI and all these things. So how has technology been instrumental in your work at the coastline?
Interesting. I did computer science.
Oh, amazing. So you are an IT guru.
Yeah, but right now I'm doing it 40% because 60%.
40% is good?
Yeah, it's good. But the good thing is I'm infusing the two, both passion and whatever I studied.
Perfect question. So what's the importance here?
So for me, I use tech basically for literacy aspects. Now we are coming up with a program where for education purposes we'll be using virtual reality.
Amazing.
And for virtual reality, that means that we'll be able to also go to communities way outside the coast, and tell them about the ocean. And
what you talked about, expanding your awareness and horizon
and stuff. And then I also use tech to. Ocean has big terminologies, scientific hard terminologies that you can't really tell them to the community. Like you can't go to the local community and tell them, mangroves help in carbon sequestration. They'll ask you, what's carbon sequestration?
You need to break it down.
So you have to break it down. You have to create graphs, create those flow charts, just to explain how the ecosystems work. And, we use technology for that to ensure that it's easy, it's efficient, and it's clean. And now you can incorporate it to school programs, to if it's policy, you can come with your, your things and report that. And also tech, we use it to track our progress as a community.
That's a good thing, tracking.
Yeah, in monitoring and evaluating, you like the geo mapping and stuff and remote sensing to understand, like, okay, we've planted these mangroves here.
How do we keep tabs?
How can we keep tabs, and also to check on, when they say this thing they say in climate, creating tech where it gives you, how do we call it, like forecasting, weather forecasting and stuff. So we also have.
So you're not caught off guard. You can be able to know how the weather is moving.
How the weather is moving, and especially also the ocean, how the ocean is behaving, so that you can understand. Okay, this right now, this ecosystem is not good for restoration. If we do restoration, it's basically zero work.
Okay,
so
amazing.
Let's do something else. That's how tech come into
technology and data.
Yeah,
that's a very huge theme in the conference.
Yeah, and people need to understand that. Right now, at this era, we can't avoid tech, and now we have tech going everywhere. If it's conservation, it's there. If it's agriculture, it's there. If it's education, it's there. If it's health, it's there. If it's anything, it's basically there. So it's a wake-up call for people to just embrace technology and use it sustainably, not using it toxically.
Yeah.
Like AI is a good tech, but if used
what do you think about AI, since you're I can consider you a tech expert?
AI is good if used for the right reasons.
Okay, that's a good response.
And it's bad if used with bad reasons. But again, for me, a personal opinion
about AI.
About AI, it makes people lazy.
What do you mean it makes people lazy?
Like
it's killing humanity.
Not necessarily humanity, but creativity.
Okay.
Because if I have a problem to do, I can just go to AI like ChatGPT and ask it, like, I'm facing this issue.
Is that lazy, or maybe making it easy for humans?
Different people have different answers to that. But for me, it makes you lazy, because if you continue doing that, you'll now start depending on AI. You won't be depending on your mind, because why should I think hard and have...
And AI can simplify things for me.
AI can simplify things for me.
I mean, if you're watching right now and listening, make sure you use AI the right way. The proper way.
And again, I've been to places where there's applications. People are writing applications. I've been privileged to actually go through some applications for there's a UNEP award thing for environmentalists, and I was going through the applications to shortlist. And one thing I realized is, the thing about AI, you'll see this answer is AI.
So you can tell
you
this
can
is
just
AI.
tell this is AI. And
but if you're an expert like you, since you're an expert in tech,
yeah,
can someone who's not an expert in tech detect or maybe tell?
There's a pattern.
There's a pattern.
The thing about AI, it's anything about tech. There's a pattern. There's usually a pattern, and I don't want to crucify people who use AI to answer questions, but use AI basically to give you ideas that can bring about your answers.
To complement your
answers.
Amazing.
Someone just puts the same question into AI, it generates an answer. You copy, directly pasting it. That's not good. And yeah.
All right, amazing. I want to ask you and find out, has success changed your circle? Are the people that you started off with, when you started off, being an expert in conservation, has it changed your circle? Or you still hang out with the same people, do projects with the same people?
No,
has it changed?
No, yeah, it has changed. I've lost friends, people I considered like my shoulders to lean on.
Okay.
I've lost important people in my life simply because they think whatever I'm doing is not generating money, something like that. For me, it's purely passion. And one of the principles I have in my life is I know that people come and go. They'll come, they'll go. They'll do their part in your life, and they'll go.
It's a season, yeah.
It's a season, and if we continue building on my strength on people's perspectives on what I do, trust you me, you'll not go, you'll not fly. You have to have a mindset of an eagle. Flying high, solo, it's fine. If they come, so be it. If they leave, so be it. But one thing I truly do is basically I try to accommodate them the way I would want them to accommodate me. For me, nature is everything.
Yeah.
If you can't understand that, then it's fine. You think about anything else. You go, you'll find other friends who you will share the same mindset.
Amazing. Okay.
And again, we'll coexist. At the end of the day, no man is an island again. So even if we like collide at some point in life, respectfully, we leave each other respectfully, because nobody knows about the future. Maybe you'll need me to advise you about the environment that you are working on as much as you hate the environment, or maybe I'll need you to advise me about tech as much as I hate tech and stuff like that. So it has changed, and it has also given me the thing about to understand life, that yes, people will always be, people will come, people will go, but the people who believe in your spirit, they'll actually be there.
They'll stick around.
They'll stick. Like my mentor, Millie, again.
She's been there.
She's been there. She's always there because she believes in what I do. She's like, Steve, you're doing an amazing work. I'll always be here for you. Whenever you need anything, just come to me. Now, the GLF is coming on board, and I actually came to realize how GLF team is actually so instrumental is during our protest. I was taking part in the protest.
Oh, the finance bill.
The finance bill, and actually the guy who was shot in the head, I was in a close range, so I saw it.
The parliament
firsthand, and
wow.
It actually took a toll on me, and I went silent. Like silent from socials and everything. Remember, I have deliverables for GLF. I also have some reports to write to Millie, and I wasn't communicating for a while.
How are you doing right now?
Now I'm good. Now I'm fine. It's life, man. I'm fine, and I thank both the GLF team and also the IRIS team, because they supported me during that time. They were like, "Hey, Steve, checking in." They went to an extent of writing to some friends on LinkedIn whom we've connected, who maybe we've worked together, and they're like, "Hey, so and so and so, I'm asking about Steve. We are trying to reach him, but he's not responding. Can you try and figure if something is up? You let us know." And those friends will come to me and they will be like, "Hey, so and so has reached out. What's up?" And I have to go back and reach out to them. I'm so grateful, man. I'm so
Shouts going out to GLF and the entire team, and your mentor, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you for participating in that, bringing change, not just in conservation, but also in governance.
Our future. And, now that you actually had put me in spot about my poet, there's a verse that says, the one that I'm presenting is... I won't say it in a poetic way, but it says so let us all wake up from the slumber deep, because the future of Africa is ours to keep. Let us all rise with our voices strong and clear and demand a future where no one lives in fear, basically. So you have to take part of it and...
Be fearless.
Be fearless.
And confident. And brave. And bold. Absolutely. Yeah. I want to find out your sentiments about money. There's a theme that's so huge here, finance and partnerships.
Yeah.
So what do you think about money and finance and partnerships, of course? How is that important for us achieving the projects and also the future of Africa in greening the horizon? How important is finance and partnership in achieving all these amazing projects?
Money unlocks doors.
Money unlocks doors. And we said money also gives you choices.
Money also gives you choices. And again, money also gives you more confidence.
More confidence, yeah.
Not arrogance, more confidence. And
I like that. on the Confident One podcast.
But I believe in financing these conservation projects, because at the end of the day, this is the rent that we pay for living in this planet.
You require, exactly.
So for us to live harmoniously with this in this planet is basically to continue doing this project. But again, we can't continue doing these projects without the money. Honestly speaking, mangrove project is an expensive affair because
So it needs finances and partnerships.
there's the whole lots of research, there's whole lots of seedlings, there's whole lots of monitoring. So you need finances, and a call to those big people.
They're watching you right now. Talk to them.
A call to like the World Banks and
The big organizations.
GLF, the
UNEP.
GLF, the UNEP. Continuous,
Supporting and funding.
Supporting and funding these projects because it's a two-way traffic. We'll continue pushing your message. The GLF's message to the community. At the same time, you are helping us and the community take care of the environment and also supporting their livelihood and stuff like that. And you see also for you to introduce. There's a conversation we had with a friend, and he was saying like, for you to get more money, you have to use money.
Absolutely.
So for us to continue implementing these sustainable alternative livelihoods away from depleting natural resources, we need money to introduce these concepts to the community. We need money to change mindsets. We need money to actualize the initiative. So
yes.
Money is really it's a medium. It's really important.
It's a medium.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
So if they are watching and listening right now, support the projects.
Man, support, man.
Get on board.
Yeah.
Support Steve with the Power project.
Definitely, man.
The Youth Power project.
I'll really appreciate.
Absolutely. So I want to find out also, apart from the deep love of the ocean, you also said you have a deep love for coffee.
Coffee, man, coffee. Hail to the coffee, man.
What's that about? It's in your bio.
Yeah, coffee.
I was curious to find out how. I mean, can you talk about that?
So I wasn't born also taking coffee
because the coast is very hot. How come you are a coffee lover and in a very hot area?
I did an experiment on myself, and so there was a day, just a normal day, I decided to let me take coffee and see how I operate.
At a young age?
I think I was 12. So I took coffee. First time, coffee, the real coffee, the one that you've grinded it on your own and you've everything on your own. I did that, and I was so active, honestly. That active I can't really explain, but I was hyper, and not high, but hyper. Then I did an experiment with tea and also with milk and also with water. Now, the interesting thing for me, it was water was actually on the same level with coffee, but I don't know how coffee actually won that between water and coffee. But ever since, man, I can't go for 2 days without coffee.
For real?
Honestly. People say I'm addicted. Well, yeah, I'm addicted to coffee, not drugs. That gives me the autonomy. Yesterday for our mental session, there was something to do with autonomy and how autonomous can you get.
Okay.
For me, my autonomy is
coffee.
I'm addicted to coffee.
Black or white?
Black. You have to represent
Africa. And this is about Africa.
Black.
Yeah, greening the African horizon.
Sugarless again.
Sugarless. Yeah, by the way, that's a good one.
Sugarless.
All right. So before we wrap up,
Yep.
there's a segment called Words of Confidence. So I want you to speak directly to the young people, the youth, and inspire confidence in them, inspire confidence in greening the African horizon. So you just go direct into their eardrums, speak to them, and inspire confidence in them.
Sure thing. So my message to all the young people out there is we will always face challenges. We will always face backlashes. We will always face criticism. But for us to actually rise up and continue bringing this change to Africa and building the Africa that we want, we need to turn a deaf ear to those and alternatively use those criticism as a stepping stone towards achieving your success. So don't take too much of the outside world. If your mission and vision is to make sure that our planet is healthy, greener, or it's thriving, you need to stick to your mission. And the right team actually comes to you. You don't have the necessity to go outside and look for the team that believes in your goal. So use those backlashes, those criticism as your stepping stone towards achieving success. At the end of the day, that's what unlocks those doors. That's what unlocks more confidence for you to sit in rooms with those big people who decision makers and so forth. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And brings me to the next question. What does success mean to you?
success means what success means to me is basically achieving your goal. As simple as that. If I have this goal of maybe making making 3 cups in a day, and I achieve that, that's success. If my goal is to turn one person from cutting down trees to actually now planting those trees, that's a success to me. It doesn't have to mean a big thing. It needs to. Success to me can be as simple as if I'm waking up at 5 to do this and this and this, and I wake up at 5 and do this and this and that. That's success.
That's success. Liking what you do.
Liking what you do.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. Keep inspiring confidence in greening the African horizon in what you're doing at the coastline with the youth power. We hope to see your work. We'll be following you. Where can we follow you on your socials? Where can we check out your work?
So Youth Power org, or short form of organization, on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn is Youth Power, basically. Those are the 3. And then on our website is theyouthpower.org. And then personal is Steve Misati with an H everywhere.
We'll be running that on our screens.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. It's
Thank
been
you.
amazing. Hope to see you soon.
Me too, man.
Steve Misati, this is the Confident One podcast, inspiring confidence in greening the African horizon.
From the plains to the sea, we plant the roots of harmony. In the soil of hope, we stand as one, greening the African horizon.